Hello everyone, I'm Trey with Student of the Leaf. So today we're back again in Visalia, California at Sequoia Cigar Company, and I have a special guest with me. He's actually a really good friend. You know what, we'll have to ask him if he considers me a really good friend. So let's go ahead and bring out the special guest today.
Damn, if I consider you a real good friend, come on.
How are you doing?
Pretty good, how you doing?
And we have with us John
Martinezson.
You know, I always want to say Martin Newson for some reason.
It's a given. Everybody's kind of toss up on the last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you pronounce it
Martinezson?
Yeah. All right. I guess we're not that close of friends because I didn't even know how to pronounce his last name.
You're all right. I have friends of like 5 or 6 years that still can't get it, so you're closer than most.
Oh. So, like I said, we're actually here at Sequoia Cigar Company. Is this your first time actually here?
Yeah, I haven't. This is the first time seeing the shop.
All right.
So
what do you think?
It's nice.
Right?
It's a nice setup. Love the mounts on the walls.
Yeah. It really gives it that man cave-ish, manly type feel, right?
It's like somebody's basement, some rich guy's basement. That's what it feels like. You got a cigar room down there.
Yeah. I wish I could be that rich man one day and, you know, have a basement like this.
Eventually, I want to be, hopefully.
Yes.
At least I have a basement like this. I don't know if it'll be set up quite as well, but, you know, have somewhere to go smoke and relax and hide from the wife.
No, the wife has to smoke with you. So what do they call them? Sisters of the Leaf?
Yeah, we can try that, huh?
We need more of those.
Yeah. Not very many of them.
No. And honestly, we'll get into all of that. But are you ready to go ahead and light up and smoke or anything?
Yeah,
okay.
For me?
Oh, you already cut?
Yeah, I cut it before.
Oh, wow.
Beforehand.
Somebody always comes prepared and somebody doesn't. That is me. So today I'm actually having one of the monsters out of Tatuaje's Monster Mash. Unfortunately, I took all of the monsters out of the coffin box and they don't have any labeling on the actual monsters. Ooh. So I'm not sure exactly which one this one is because unfortunately I didn't come prepared. But I do think that this possibly could be the Mummy. And the reason why I'm thinking that is because the band itself has that gray and white in there. It's also it's a closed foot cigar as well too. So I think that this might be the Mummy. I'll put it down in the description below. So
when you go hunting,
yeah,
I could check the box I got at home.
Yeah.
I haven't even opened it up yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll hit it one of these days.
Well, you need to actually smoke one tonight.
That's true. That's very true.
So the day that we're actually filming this, usually I don't even put out when we are actually filming it, but it is Sunday, October 31st, which is Halloween.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're not smoking a monster.
Well, I mean, I'm smoking on my father, so.
And you said you're having my father's right now?
Yeah, I can't even tell you how to pronounce that. Floral something.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never had it, so.
Yes.
My father makes a decent cigar, and I enjoy them.
One of my favorites out of their line is the La Promesa.
Yeah.
And because you know they have the different sizes and shapes for the La Promesa, but the Lancero, for some reason, it's just all that flavor.
Yeah. You know, there's a few guys at the Fresno shop that are that way. Like Tommy only wants Lanceros.
Yes.
He smokes nothing but Lanceros.
Correct.
But you really think about it, there's no filler. It's all real high quality tobacco. And everything's all quality, you know, there's no filler.
So tell me, because you may actually know this, do you know if the top rollers are the ones who's rolling the actual Lanceros?
From what I've been told from my dad, yeah. Because my dad went to the trip with Micah, I think in 2012, 2013. Went with Micah and the whole crew, Wade and everybody. Which I don't know if you've met Wade yet, because he hasn't been back since he's went to Idaho. Yeah, he got out of the state like every other smart man in there around us. took his money and ran.
Yes. Well, that's what a lot of people say about Ohio as well too, and it's just because there's nothing to do in Ohio.
It snows and you're kind of stuck, and you know, I like that side of the country up there. I really enjoy Idaho and like Illinois and all that up in there. I won't ever move to Illinois. I'll move to like Indiana. Sorry, Indiana is what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But because Indiana is just so green.
It's so green. The air is a little bit fresher. But once again, you don't have the same amount of things that you can do like here in the state of California.
Everything's so spread out too.
Yeah.
Because we went back there for a national FFA convention like 4 years ago today, actually, because the memories just popped up a couple of days ago. And we were back there for a week, and it was insane. So we went to Churchill Downs, did that tour, did the Bat Company, and then Kentucky. It's only like an hour and a half drive from Churchill Downs to Kentucky, you know?
Oh, wow. So I would love to know from all the listeners and viewers out there, where are you listening and viewing from? And do you think that your state is one to actually stay in or get out of? Take your money and run.
And or country, because and you do have people from out of the country.
Correct. Yes, when I was doing the analytics, I was looking at the analytics. I was seeing that I was having some viewers and also some listeners from Germany, some from Africa, and I want to say Spain as well too.
Wow.
So, of course, the bulk of it is coming from the United States, but we do have some international viewers and listeners. So,
well, you look at Cigars; they're like a worldwide thing.
Correct.
Almost. You got some of the third world countries that probably don't see them, but they're everywhere.
They are everywhere. So, what exactly do you do?
Heavy equipment mechanic. I work on John Deere equipment. So I work for Pape Machinery down here.
I'm struggling with this cigar.
Same.
I don't know. Like this never happens to me. But yeah, I think it's probably the closed foot.
Sometimes they're hard to get lit.
Yeah.
You want to really hit it with some flame.
That's not a knife. This is a knife. So you work with heavy equipment, you said, right?
Heavy equipment mechanic. Before that, I drove truck for a year and a half, and that was a learning experience in itself. I mean, I was more tired doing a 14-hour day doing that than doing what I'm doing now.
Okay.
It's harder on the body.
Okay.
Just sitting there and bouncing around up and down the crappy freeways of California.
You gotta take it out to the coast, man.
Yeah, that's true. It's nice out on the coast. Only times I was ever out there, I was working. I'd leave here at 6 in the afternoon, or I'd leave here at noon, go there at 6, get there at 6, 6-hour drive. Then it's by Lompoc, the military base down there.
Okay.
Or like what, Vandenberg's over there?
Yep.
And I would go there and we'd come back at midnight. So it was a pretty rough turnaround. It was nice to sleep over there. The fog would roll in, it'd cool off. It was hot in the valley.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's a learning curve to be on heavy equipment. I mean, with all the part supply shortages and everything going on, it's.
So are you affected by that?
Dude, our main parts warehouses are on strike right now. They're wanting more money after the John Deere, like I think CEO got a $10 million bonus, and they gave a bonus to everybody else that was 5% of what they were making.
Oh, wow.
From what I've been told, and then. Them being union, everybody stuck together. So the guys making the equipment and the people that are doing the parts are out on strike.
Wow.
So we went from before the pandemic, like during the middle of it, from next day UPS. We would have it the day after we ordered it by 11 o'clock. And now it's from, we order it this day. Well, you might see it the next day, but more than likely you're going to see it 2 days out. Even paying for next day air and it's not our part supply, it's UPS.
Okay.
UPS is dropping the ball on it, but it's nothing we can control. I mean, there's a labor shortage everywhere.
It's a labor shortage, and I haven't fully understood why. Because they have the vacancies.
Yeah.
And there's people that are looking for work. So are they truly looking for work? Are they just looking for something better? Like who knows? I don't understand that.
I don't get it either.
Haven't been able to wrap my mind around it. It just sucks all around because it does affect everybody.
Yeah, it's a rough thing. I mean, it got real bad once they went on strike. I mean, it was bad before. We're cut off by 3 o'clock our time to order parts for next day. Okay. So we can't even get parts. Like if you want to put an order in after 3 o'clock, it's done. You won't be able to put them in for the next day, and then that makes it right there 3 days out for parts. Unless you're pulling them out of another like another place like up here by Sacramento. We have a warehouse. It's got a lot, but it doesn't have near what Milan does.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been rough. I mean, and to find mechanics right now is just like an act of Congress. I mean, it's nuts. It's not easy.
But you're figuring out a way to make it through, correct?
Yeah, it's more hours based. It's what it equates to. It's just more hours of work.
Okay.
Basically.
All right. Well, make sure you take care of yourself. You know, take some vitamin C supplements, drink some orange juice, whatever you need to do.
And especially after that COVID bout, man.
Hey, and you're all well now.
Yeah.
So that's
other than my smell still kind of, it's still weird.
So I've actually heard that from a couple of people that I know who has had a bout with COVID. And they said, like, after they got better and everything, their favorite cigars are no longer their favorite cigars because it changed their sense of smell or taste. Have you noticed that yourself?
Yeah, the one thing I really noticed it was still, like, I can smell the cigars now. Cigarettes, if somebody's smoking them around me, it still got a chemical smell. So it's just like a instant.
Yeah.
And beforehand, when I first had it, it was everything. Any kind of smoke, and like cigars just, it tastes like crap. Like it just tasted chemical, and I don't know. Like I smoked one 7 days, like into COVID, or like 7 to 10 days, and I was like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
It's better now. Like I can actually taste the flavors, taste most of it now, but there's still some things that
just haven't fully recovered for you.
And I mean, it hasn't really changed my taste in cigars. I think I'm still the same. Like the CAO flathead. I mean, I'm 6x60. It's one of my go-tos, you know. But then again, you can't pass up something like this.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm glad. And that was like a few months ago, right?
Yeah, it's been about 2 months now.
Okay. But so I'm glad that you're 100%. Well, not 100%. We'll say 95%.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
It's like, and another issue I've ran into is blowing out machines and dealing with a lot of the cattle feed. It's just my nose can't handle it anymore. I get towards the end of the day, I'm congested and just it trashes you now. Like I almost feel like I don't have a tolerance to stuff anymore. Like everything's all fresh in there.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling.
Now I'm wondering, because before, were you wearing masks before?
No.
But have you been wearing masks after?
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat more.
Depending on what I'm doing.
Somewhat more than from before. So I'm wondering if now it's more like you're not exposing yourself to all this stuff as much. And so now you're getting everything. And it's like, oh, I can't take this, you know?
Yeah, because it's a real fine dust. I mean, that stuff goes everywhere, and then it's sticky, and once it's in, it's just...
Yeah.
But if, like you say, with the mask, it does help a little bit.
But what I'm saying is, like, so now you're preventing your body from becoming acclimated to the environment because you're wearing your mask a lot more. I'm not telling you not to wear your mask.
No, I know.
Definitely not saying that. But I'm just like thinking, like, you know, you have to introduce the body to certain things so that it can build its own tolerance.
Yeah.
So that might be something.
It's like a fresh cigar smoker. Starting out, he starts with the Connecticut's, and then he starts working his way up. And then if we were to give him like a LaCroix, a LFD LaCroix, they would just floor him. Like, it would make him sick, you know? So it's almost like a tolerance. Like you're saying, it's a tolerance to stuff.
Yeah. And I've noticed that with my own self too. It's like my allergies, or it's like it's more exacerbated. And I think it's because we're wearing masks a lot more.
That, and it doesn't help that we got so much smoke in the air and all the fires burning again.
Yes, where we're at. So yes, we have smoke in the air here too. But this is the best quality air that you can get in this region right now. Cigar smoke.
Yeah, those like I was up where the creek fire was on Thursday, up in Shaver, and it's sad. It's sad to see. Like you can look, and I don't know if you've been up that way before or not.
Shaver Lake, yeah.
But I don't know if you were up there before the fire beforehand.
No.
It's sad. I mean, you look at where all the houses were, and it just leveled. And then I have another guy that I do work for at an almond plant, and he goes, our cabin's up on the hill in Huntington Lake where the tornado went through. They had a fire tornado go through there, and it took trees, root balls, and all like the size of this table, and just leveled cabins with them.
Oh wow!
And he had another one. He said the tree wasn't on fire when it went through, but then the cabin was still standing. It took a like 36-inch pine and went right through the top of that cabin, like the top story.
Oh wow!
And he said it's from the deck out the front. It didn't level the cabin or anything, but it went straight through like a
That is actually pretty scary. I couldn't even imagine going through something like that.
It's just like a tornado, but like it's fire. Yeah.
That's like my worst like nightmare almost.
I'm okay with earthquakes. I mean, I'm okay with shaking and rolling out here, but I won't do tornadoes.
So back home in Ohio, we have tons of tornadoes. Not tons, but we do have tornadoes. We actually had some in recent history, and it is a scary thing. It actually leveled some houses and such. And I was actually afraid for my brothers because it actually went through like the town of Dayton, Ohio and stuff.
I remember hearing about that,
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on from all this dreary tornado and fire talk and COVID. Question for you. What brought you into cigars?
My dad. More the camaraderie, and especially now, like it's all the people you meet and everything that you get to do. And it's that, I mean, you can't pass a good cigar and just sitting and just hanging out with everybody, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's definitely a good thing to be sitting there and doing.
So for you, it's much more about, like you said, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, because you can sit out on your back patio and smoke a cigar. I've been to your house, phenomenal smoking area. But going into the shop, you lend yourself to a bigger community.
Yeah, like my dad was cooking before a lot of his surgeries. He would cook for the events. We'd go. He'd pull me out, and we'd go over there and we'd hang out, and it would be for me to help him, you know. And I miss him cooking, to be honest with you. But it's one of those things you don't always get to do, you know.
Yeah. So let me ask you. When you're saying cooking for some of the events, are you talking about at LTD?
Yeah.
Cigars Limited. So we actually did a tour with Micah Johnson, and that's on the interview episode. When your father was cooking, did he actually do it out there on that back patio?
For a while, he would put the barbecue in the back, like where the storage room's at. But it ended up getting shut down by the elbow room because they didn't want us competing with them, even though we weren't.
Yes.
And it's just been a cat and mouse game with the guys down the road.
Gotcha.
Either both sides. I mean, not just him, but the other side as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even the center seems to not like it. So they called the fire department on one day. So he just started, and that one happened to be like a cancer benefit for the wine shop next door.
Yeah.
And they called the fire department, and they made it. Yeah, it was a whole mess.
Oh no.
So when he cooked from there on, he cooked at home and then brought it in on warmers and.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I mean, he's not doing it for the money or anything. He just did it for like, hey, everybody wants food. So
because this is a community, and it's about that brotherhood and that sisterhood and just that camaraderie, like you said. So that's one of the main reasons why I love smoking cigars too. It's because of interactions like this, or at the shop, the lounge. It's all about the people.
Yeah, and I mean, even I would come in and out, and I would drive people home. At that time, like, yeah, it was back in the good old days when it was like crazy party.
Yes.
Everybody was crazy party animals there. Like they still are, but they're not like to the extent they used to be.
Yeah. But it was good that you were actually there and actually helped out. Was the designated driver for whoever. So that's pretty sweet. Now you said that you're smoking on a My Father's right now. That's one of your go-to brands. What do you look for in a cigar?
Wow, that's almost a loaded question.
Bang bang.
Wow.
Sorry, Alec Baldwin.
Oh.
Too soon? Too soon?
Wow. No, not too soon.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to the person who lost their life in the family. I really am sorry. But moving on.
Now, the go-to, I'm not into the real heavy peppery.
Okay.
Like, I enjoy them, but it's more of a certain time. So I'm more into the smooth, like, when you get down to it, it'll knock you on your butt. But it's, I really don't have a good answer for that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Like, I try to find there's some that I don't like lighter cigars. Like Connecticut's to me are like smoking newspaper.
Okay.
Like there's no flavor anymore. I used to smoke the white powders from Micah. Okay. That's one of the first cigars I smoked.
I don't think I ever had the white powders.
That may have been the ones that they discontinued. It was prior to the Brew 44 line. It was prior to that one, I believe.
Okay.
And those were pretty light, and I got to the point, like that's what I started with, that and flavored. And flavored cigars leave a nasty taste in my mouth, and I don't like them afterwards. And it's like, they taste good while you're doing it.
Yeah. And
then it's the 6-8 hours afterwards that they're just, they linger.
Yes.
And then like the Connecticut's and stuff, so I go for the Ligeros and the real high, like heavy, knock you on your butt cigars. Especially like the LFDs. I really like the LFD. Man, I can't think of the name of them. I'm sure he has them here, but yeah, the LFDs are really good for me.
You're talking about the Flor Dominicana? Okay. So, you don't like pepper bombs. So you don't like the heavy pepper bombs.
Yeah.
You do like flavor, though, as well, too. So you typically go for a Maduro that has full flavor, full body, not a Connecticut. Do you typically smoke a lighter cigar, though, even though you don't like Connecticut's? In the morning, do you ever have a cigar in the morning?
Occasionally, yeah.
Besides this morning?
Occasionally. I mean, it's like right now, I would be going to my dad's probably, and I'll go sit down and smoke cigars with him. We smoke a lot of like seconds and just stuff because they're cheaper. I mean, if you're going to smoke 3 to 4 cigars 4 or 5 days a week, you can't afford one of these every. Yeah, at least I can. I couldn't handle the price on those.
I couldn't either.
I like the diesels. Some of the diesels they're a little cheaper and they got a good punch behind them. But I have a factory smoked sun-growns, and those are just on the edge. The sun-grown tobacco is just on the edge for me. On the like too light. That's like a morning with coffee smoke to me.
Okay.
That's because there's almost nothing there.
Have you actually had a punch?
Yeah, I smoked a punch at the last event on Wednesday at the Cigar of the Month.
Yeah. So they're relatively not expensive, but they do have a good flavor to them. Have you, besides that one?
When they had the event, I want to say, 4 months ago, they had that, oh man, it was a limited run. They only made 1,000 boxes from what Vlad was saying. Okay. And it was
And Vlad from Casdagli, he's the rep, correct?
Yeah.
For Casdagli.
He also did that cigar smoking competition. He was a rep for, came in with Rocky. I think it was Rocky's rep.
Yes.
But yeah, I've had probably 3 or 4, but I haven't really bought them. I'm kind of to the point where, all right, now I might start buying a couple boxes of these because they're really enjoyable. Yeah. I mean, Punch is a really good cigar.
And they're underrated. You really don't hear much about Punch.
You used to. Back 10 years ago, I remember hearing a lot about Punch from the Cigar General and the Cigar Dave show because my dad used to always listen to that. And it was like you said, they're underrated. You don't hear anything about them. They're not advertised. They're not pushed. They hardly have events. We had that one event and that was it.
Yeah.
So I agree with them being underrated completely.
And they're mighty tasty. So I'm going to actually try to come up with some catchphrases. Tell me if that one works.
That one works.
Mighty tasty.
Yeah, that one works real well.
Okay. I'm coining that today on this episode. Mighty tasty. Anyway. So, have you went to any cigar events or anything like that in the past?
No, I think
the big ones.
We're talking about going to Big Smoke, not this year, not this November, but next year. Okay. So I'm trying to get my girlfriend's dad to go, and they'll pull their travel trailer and stay down. They got an RV park, I guess, right off the strip, and it's a lot cheaper than a hotel room.
Yes.
But we're talking about going this year coming up, as long as I'm not on call that week and nothing kind of interferes, with work.
Well, you have a whole year to kind of finagle your schedule to that, right? Yeah. Can you finagle?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you can get guys last week I was on call. I switched with the guy that was out on baby leave. So
there we go.
Yeah, he's supposed to take next week's for me, or 2 weeks from now for me, hopefully.
Well, if you end up going to Big Smoke next year in 2022. 2022, wow.
Yeah, I know, right? It's where'd the years go?
Yes. 2020 is a blur. 2021, I think it's because we're still in this whole mess. That's been kind of a blur. we're at the end of 2021.
I know. This whole year is just, I don't remember much of last year. I just remember it just sailing.
Yeah. But yeah, if you end up going in 2022, definitely let me know because I would love to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, no, we'll keep you. Because I think I know a lot of the guys go from the shop. A lot.
Yes. I think a couple of them were featured in a couple of pictures for Cigar Aficionado.
Oh,
Big
really?
Smoke. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at, we're good friends with Rocky. We know we know the owner of Christoph. We know the owner of like everything because they come to the shop.
Correct.
Like knowing they have such a good let's say camaraderie. Everybody knows each other. My dad's real good friends with Rocky. And he's real good friends with I think it's the Christoph, the guy that does Christoph. He got him. He came to town about 6 years ago or 4 years ago, and he got him a bunch of fruit. And he told him, he goes, "Hey, don't eat all this in one day." And because they don't, where they live, they don't like where you lived. You didn't get good fruit like we have out here.
Not at all.
And he's like, "Don't eat all this." It was cantaloupe. It was like plums, peaches, everything. He goes, "Don't eat it all." And I guess he really just hammered on the fruit.
And it was so good.
And he was in the bathroom for like the next couple days, just solid. Because he brought us I think RV down. He had a big diesel pusher, and they were parked right down the street from my parents' house.
Okay.
At that Royal Oaks. There's a RV park right on the river.
Okay.
Yeah, he got a little too crazy on the fruit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories about that around here that we got good fruit.
Yes. So I will say, in the last one of the prior episodes, when I was sitting down with Micah, and I don't know how he received it. A lot of people are very humble. Micah's one of those people.
Yes, he's very humble.
He's very, very humble. One thing that I notice about him is that he is plugged into the community so deep. And he's almost like the godfather of cigars in this area.
Yeah.
Because he's such his energy and just him as a person, he's a good person. He's down to earth. He's a straight shooter. But he also takes care of his customers.
Well, if you want my honest opinion, I think he's one of the most well-known in the state, in the state of California, because of what he's done with his brands and what he has with his shop. They hosted the cigar smoking competition here in Fresno. It's
Correct.
They're not gonna.
Well, not here.
Well, yeah, not here, but
We're in Visalia.
About an hour up the road.
Yes.
But yeah, when you think about that, you're like, well, okay, he's got a good enough rapport with these people that they're going to be willing to put a competition that if you win this one, you go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then if you win that one, it's all expenses paid to Croatia.
So, do you want to dive into this year's smoking competition?
No. So I'm still kind of bummed about it.
Yeah. We're not going to touch on it.
It was cool to win.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We actually have the winner from Fresno right here with us right now. He actually had the longest smoke.
Yep, I think it was an hour and 30 something minutes or an hour and 20, somewhere around there. I know I missed, with my time, I would have missed Pittsburgh by 10 minutes, by winning Pittsburgh by 10 minutes. They told me that at the event on Wednesday.
Okay.
And I was like, or Cigar of the Month, and I was like, 10 minutes. If I didn't have to come down with a fever the day before I was supposed to fly out and get COVID.
Oh, wow.
It was literally the day. I got tested Friday. We were supposed to fly out Friday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got a fever on Thursday.
So yeah, that's definitely hard, especially, just hitting that milestone. But at the same time, you have that to brag about.
Yeah, I had no practice. It was just like, I told my dad, I'm like, I'm just going to go in and wing this.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, this guy dropped. And then before you know it, it was down to 4. And then it was like, oh, well, then there goes another one. It ended up being me and Byron.
Okay.
And Byron ended up, his went out. And I just had a little bit left. And I was getting down to the band of the cigar, and I'm just going, do I want to keep trying or do I want to burn my band? Because if I burn the band, I'm not going to win.
Correct.
And it's like, oh.
Decisions.
Well, and Vlad was telling me the winner of Croatia was 2 hours, 5 minutes. So, but you got to look at the world record of that specific cigar. It's 4.5 hours.
Correct.
Somebody smoked that little tiny cigar 4.5 hours.
So, in one of the first few episodes that we've done here on the show, we were talking about that. And my guest for that day, he could not believe that it was that long. And I was like,
I can't either.
Looking at it, but the facts are the facts. Nobody lies on the internet. I want to see the video still. I'm sure that there's a video out there.
I went looking before the contest in Pittsburgh, and I didn't find much. I was actually amazed. I think since it's such a new, I mean, it's been around, but now that Rocky Patel took it over with his cigar and he's sponsoring the event, it's getting bigger.
Okay.
Before, I think it was smaller.
So this wasn't his original.
From what I've been told and what I've heard, no.
Okay.
So from what they were saying, that's like he sponsored it a couple years ago, and it just started to take off from there now. So there was 11 or 12 competitors that competed. I think there was 2 in California, or 3 in California actually, and it was kind of spread out everywhere else. And there was only, from what he was saying, 1 woman competitor. I think she actually got second.
Oh wow!
In Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I think somebody from California won it, I believe. Yeah, it's a tough. I'm just like, really? Like, come on, COVID, man, you got to knock me down like that.
But you know what? There's light at the end of the tunnel. There's going to be other events.
Yeah,
hopefully Rocky keeps going with it.
Compete next year. All right, I'm already going to do it.
You know what? I think I might get into the spirit. I'm coming for you.
You know, it's not that it's pricey. Like, you get 10 cigars with it. You get the cigar that night, and then if you win, like, you look at this cutter. That's like what, a $70-$80 cutter, Rocky Patel cutter.
Oh wow!
And
this is the cutter.
Yeah, that's the cutter that my dad won, and my dad won that at sixth place. So that was like 6th or 7th place won that, and then everybody else got cigars, and then they got. So everybody won something. I mean, it's a lot thicker than.
So is this because I think they're manufacturing their own cutters now, right?
I think so, because they're not a Cigar or like one of these, like what you have here.
Correct. It's not the Calibri. It's not a Cigar. So this might be actually Rocky Patel's.
Yeah.
This is nice.
So now I won like a $1,500 or $2,000 handmade fountain pen that's made in like Switzerland by a watch company.
Oh, you don't want that. You can give it to me. It's fine.
It's in the case, in the case hid. I was like, that's cool. Like you're never gonna get one of these again. Like,
and it's about the experiences and just having those memories. I mean, like I said, you actually hold the title.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
Until I get dethroned.
Yes, I'm coming for you. I told you. Anyway.
Well, it was actually put on hold too. Like, this was supposed to be done in 2020 or 2019.
Yes.
So my dad texted me one day and he goes, "Hey, are you still wanting to do this? Like, Mike is asking." And I go, "Yeah, why not?" So I took like an hour extra early off of work and we went up there that day. And I was like, I'm just gonna wing it. So.
Did you ever get your hat out of your father's?
Yeah. I forgot to grab it this morning. I have it at the house.
So I took care of this guy. I hand delivered his Student of the Leaf hat, and he didn't even wear it today. But it's also partly my fault because I did not remind him either. So
it happens.
It does. It does. Anyway, yeah, this is fun. I'm glad that you decided to sit down with me. And
I know it's kind of conflicting schedules there for a couple, like about a month, because we've been talking about this for about a month.
Yeah. But schedules finally permitted us both to sit down and actually have a conversation with the people.
Yeah.
So, have you watched any of the other prior episodes?
I watched a couple, yeah. Some of your very early ones.
Oh my gosh, rough, right?
Hey, they're good though.
Rough.
For somebody that has like no background, getting thrown into it,
It's true.
It's very good. I like them.
Okay.
I like them a lot.
But do you like the newer format of how I'm doing things? Okay.
Everything's good. I really enjoy your content.
Oh, thank you.
It's good.
So I know a lot of other people, they do, cigar reviews, they do unboxing videos. They are the cigar authorities. For this format, for us, I really wanted to showcase the culture itself first and foremost. That is the foundation of this. It is the people. It is the people. We all have learned experiences, and I'm so glad that I have a lot of people that want to share their stories.
Yeah,
like yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of you probably have what 200 or 300 episodes just out of everybody from Visalia here and from Fresno, and just
correct.
There's a lot of people that would really, I think an interesting one if you could get Jonathan Nestor to come in and do his. One of these days. He's sailing right now. He's on the East Coast.
Okay.
But if he's ever in town, he might be a good one.
Yeah. So
you want to talk about stories, man? That guy's got some stories.
Really?
Yeah, very interesting ones.
So no matter if you're just getting into cigars or if you've been smoking for 20 plus years, 30 years, everybody has a story to share.
Yeah.
Everybody's already heard my story on how I got started with cigars. I don't know if I ever told you, but you should go back and watch one of the earlier episodes. But I was out there in Iraq.
Oh, really?
And that's how I got started with it, ordering off of Cigars International. Have no idea. The Romeo and Julieta, which one it was, but I wasn't really impressed. But I just kept it up on the 1st and 15th. Because I just got paid. And and I was still alive, so that was a celebration for me, so I would enjoy a cigar with that. But I really didn't fall in love with cigars until I started coming into the lounges and meeting the people.
That's really, to me, that's what cigars are all about. It's all the people. Like cigars are 25% of coming in here, sitting down and talking with you or talking with anybody else that's in a shop. It's the people you meet through the cigars. Like you go to the Fig Garden shop, to LTD, and it's like you walk in there and you don't know it, but there's 4 guys in there that are worth millions of dollars, and you never know.
Nope.
They're your friend from day one once you meet them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. They don't flaunt it. And I mean, not to say that every shop is like that, because there are some shops where it's like they have their close group of people, which is fine because that's who they feel safe with.
Yeah.
And then you just go in and you smoke. But to really enjoy, it's all about the people. This is the great equalizer right here. The stick.
Yeah. Hands down. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So once again, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to this channel, please do so. If you have some lived experiences, drop them in the comments below. Share it with your friends. And I hope to have you back on the show in the future.
Hey, I'm game for it.
You all right?
You let me know, and I will be here.
Okay. All right. I'm going to hold you to it. Actually, I want to sit down with your father too, because I know he has tons of stories.
You want to talk to a man with some stories about Nicaragua, and he's been to a lot of the places where they make the cigars. So he's got a lot of stories about that, and just that's where he got real close to everybody from the shop, was from that trip.
Okay.
But he was close to him before, and it's like you look at the people you meet. So somebody that lives a street over from my parents, they had no idea he lived there until he met him at the cigar shop.
Oh.
And now they're like super close friends.
Yeah.
So it's like one street over, like a mile from the house, and they never knew him. It's crazy when you think about stuff like that.
Yes. So, yeah. Please keep watching, keep smoking your cigars, keep enjoying, keep learning. Because we're all students.
Yeah, everybody's a student. Like the famous saying goes, if you're not learning, you're dead. You're gonna learn every day of your life. It's and that holds true. Being a mechanic, you learn just little tricks, just little tiny tricks. Like I went out and flashed a controller on a loader, and it started throwing codes, and I'm like, what is this? and all it wants you to do is go into the monitor and select the model of the machine that's already there again, and it goes away. And I'm like, why?
Yes.
It's just little things, man. You always learn. You learn every day.
You always do. So we're going to go ahead and call this one a good episode.
Yes, sir.
Because I sat with a good friend. So.
Oh, and to answer your question from the first, yes, I consider you a good friend from the beginning.
Let's see if I can pronounce your last name again. I'm not going to try because I don't want to butcher it on camera. Martinezson?
Yes, it's spot on.
Oh. Hey, keep smoking, keep enjoying, and keep learning because we're all students of the leaf.